Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, turning of voyages. It is the DOUG here once again. Well, I turned down the phone volume on my phone, and it's time for another week of predictions. We are in week 11, so we're getting near the end of the wire, the final countdown. Some teams already know they'll have no shot at making the playoffs. Some are on life support, and some are in control of their own destiny. Which teams are in control, which teams are needing help, and which teams will I pick this week? Well, we're going to talk about that all today. We also have some other breaking news that happened earlier today around the NFL. But before we do that, I hope everyone's having a good Wednesday, because it is that time of year again, and hopefully anyone who's watching this on the many other sports groups I'm in, either the NFL YouTube prognosticators, to my buddy Dave, and to the sports hit list group. And looks like the breaking news for you NBA fans: will select Georgia SG Antonio Edwards with the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. So congratulations to him. He gets to go to Minnesota and freeze his ass off. Is Minnesota, it's cold up there, I tell you what there, brother. You not only be making a snowman, you'll be getting a extreme case of blue balls right now. Alright, and it's been shared everywhere. So let's get to last week, just as a quick recap of what happened last week. On Thursday night, the Titans got shocked as they lost to the Colts, putting the Colts in a driver's seat for their division, and we'll get to that later. The Browns, after a weather delay thanks to some hail, did beat the Texans, so congratulations to the Browns on getting back to their winning ways. Pull that up in case somebody gives me a comment. Washington, Alex Smith first came back, he played pretty decently, but unfortunately they lost to the Lions. Packers were able to sneak by against the Jags. Giants got their second win in a row and beating the Eagles, giving them somewhat of a control of your own destiny situation, depending on what happens with Philly the rest of the way. Bucks beat the Panthers. Panthers have some injuries right now. Raiders easily handled the business against the Broncos. Dolphins easily destroyed the Bolts. And what was the game of the week and maybe the game of the season? The Cardinals came back to win the game with 11 seconds left, beating the Bills, and what was a great matchup. Beautiful catch, by the way. And a beautiful throw. That was a great game. Rams beat the Seahawks. The Niners lost to the Saints, but in doing so, they did injure Drew Brees, which we will talk about. The Steelers easily handled their business against the Bengals. Ravens' offense is once again inept as they lose to the Patriots. And on Monday night, Kirk Cousins does something he's never done before. Kirk Cousins gets his first win on Monday night, beating the Bears. So I went 9-5 this past week, and for the season, I'm 96-44-1. Hello, Dave. Hope you're having a good night tonight. So let's bring up more news going around the league. Next yet, get ready to pay attention once Gonzalez. We need Speedy Gonzalez. Week year 70-62-1. Alright, so here's what you need to know. The big news for tomorrow night's game: Seattle Seahawks running back Chris Carson unlikely to play in key divisional matchup against the Cardinals. He is listed as questionable, but a source told ESPN Adam Sefler that the starting running back is unlikely to play. But the good news is for the Seahawks, banged up backfoot is that Carlos Hyde hamstring will play for the first time since he and Carson Foot were injured in Seattle's overtime loss to Arizona in Week 7. So keep that in mind if you have not got a chance to read the injury report. Drew Brees, we'll get to that a little bit. But the big news that came out today, well, the Niners did claim ex-Falcons D.E. McKinley off waivers, so congratulations to the Niners. He was supposed to go to the Bengals, but didn't pass the health test. Great. Blue screen. Well, luckily this is one of the times we do not need to worry about the black screen of death, because we're just here to hear me talk the entire time. The New York Giants fired offensive line coach Matt Colombo following a nasty verbal confrontation with head coach Joe Judge. Sources had told ESPN and have replaced him with longtime NFL assistant Dave D. Judge said, in a statement Wednesday released by the team. When Colombo was told of a plan by a judge to hire Dave D as a constant on Tuesday night, it did not go down well. Somebody didn't want to get replaced, did they? Alright, before we go to the playoff standings for each division, let's go over some notes real quick. The notes that you need to know for this big week. First, for the Baltimore Ravens, tight end Nick B, who may be the best blocking tight end in the league, is out for the season with a left knee injury. Staying with injury news, Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey is unlikely to play Sunday against the Lions due to his shoulder injury, and the team is still prepping for a multi-week absence. Right side, per ESPN's Ed Warner. Brees is suffering from 3 fractured ribs on his left side and 2 on the right, possibly more. Doctors have cautioned Brees to especially be careful with the damage to his lung. He did get a second opinion today, but we'll see how that goes. Also, further testing revealed that Broncos' Drew Lock has a pretty severe strain and bruise, but no fractured ribs. Per source, he will be day-to-day, but it is uncertain if he will be recovered in time to start against the Dolphins on Sunday. Packers activated wide receiver Allen L. from the injury reserve list, and the Bears, the 49ers, the Giants, and the Bills have a bye this week. So if you have any of those players on your fantasy team, please remember to bench them accordingly so you do not get caught with your pants down, which is not fun nor educational. Heading back to the Drew Brees thing, he did get second opinions, but they did confirm his injury. So Drew Brees will most likely be out for the next few weeks. Depending on who you listen to or hear, some are saying it's 2 weeks, some are saying it's longer. I would say on the safe side, go with the longer. But the Saints will most likely be using Bo Jameis once in the NT Hill, most likely this weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Saints do it. But they do play Atlanta, so kind of a benefit for them to say to do, because they will be playing a team that's really not that great. But it will be interesting to see. Brees has only missed 6 games due to injury in his 20 NFL career. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. He did miss games last year, which is how Teddy Bridgewater started, and he ended up in Carolina. So, with that being said, let's just take a look at some stats real quick. Stat sheet brought to you by Frosty the Snowman, because, well, baby, it's cold outside, and it's almost getting near Christmas. You know, we haven't passed Turkey Day yet. Gobble, gobble. Your leading offensive quarterback for passing is Josh Allen at 2,871, followed by Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. Your leading rusher is D. Cook from Minnesota at 954, but Derrick Henry's right behind him at 946. Your leading receiver with 906 yards is Stephon Diggs from Buffalo, followed by Deion Hopkins from Arizona. Not a surprise. Your defensive leaders right now are tied between Blake M. and Al Smith, respectively from the Giants and the Bears at 96. Your leading tackler in sacks right now is Myles Garrett from Cleveland at 9.5, followed by Aaron Donald at 9.0, and TJ Watt from Pittsburgh at 9.0 as well. Interceptions is going to be led by J.C. Jackson from New England with 6 interceptions. Congratulations to all those wonderful people. Golden State picks, I'm not really paying attention to that. So there is that. So let's get to the standings right now, because this is the most important thing. But thank you for the update nevertheless, Mr. Dave. Golden State picks James W. from Memphis. As you can tell, I'm not watching the NBA draft. With the NBA draft, I care more about the NBA lottery, because I think that's always fun. The NBA draft's kind of, it's no fun. Let's start with the AFC. At this point, the only team officially out of, 2 teams out of it at this point, is well, there's a lot of teams who should already be technically out of it, but right now the only team officially out of it is the Jets and the Jags. For some reason, the Houston Texans, Chargers, Bengals, Denver, they're still on life support. New England can kind of still get in, but they need help. But your 2 top teams on the outside looking in are the Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans at 6 and 3. Your 7 teams right now in control of their own destiny in the for a player spot. Number 1 is Pittsburgh at 9-0, followed by Kansas City in the 2nd seed at 8-1. Buffalo's the 3rd seed at 7-3, and Indianapolis, because of the tiebreakers they have over Tennessee, is the 4th seed right now at 6-3. As far as for your 3 wildcard teams, the Raiders are the 5th seed, followed by the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens hold the tiebreaker over Cleveland and Tennessee, mostly due to the following. They win the tiebreaker over Tennessee based on best win percentage in common games. Divisional tiebreaker was used to eliminate the Cleveland Browns. Baltimore wins the break over Cleveland based on head-to-head win percentage. So pretty much if those teams can just win the rest of the way, they will make the playoffs. We'll be interested to see how Cleveland and Tennessee can keep the hope alive. New England's 4-5, but I have a feeling they need so much help, I don't know. And they can get in personally. To be perfectly honest with that. In the NFC, Green Bay and New Orleans are tied at 7-2, but Green Bay holds the tiebreaker based on head-to-head win percentage. Arizona's the 3rd seed at 6-3, and then you got Philadelphia at 3-5-1, because, well, that division sucks. That's the only reason the Giants, Washington, the Cowboys are officially eliminated at this point because of how bad that division is. As far as for your wildcard teams in the NFC, number 5 is Tampa Bay at 7-3. The Rams are the 6th seed at 6-3, and then 7th seed will be the Seahawks at 6-3. Chicago's on the outside looking in at 5-5, and then of course you have a whole heap of insanity behind them with the Vikings at 4-5, Detroit 4-5, and then you have the Niners at 4-6. And surprisingly, Atlanta is still alive, but they have to win out. Carolina has to win out and get some help as well, kind of like Atlanta has to. Giants, Washington, Dallas are really the only reason they're not officially eliminated yet is because of how bad their division is. On that. So, let's get to the games this week. The first game, which is tomorrow night on Fox at 8:20. It is the Arizona Cardinals on the road against the Seahawks. Seattle is currently favored by 3.5 points. I'm taking Arizona here. Seattle's kind of fallen off the map a little bit. They haven't looked too well. Arizona just got a big one on Sunday. That offense has been very good this year so far. I got to give them props on that. I did not think the Cardinals offense was going to be this good right out the gate. I thought, they were going to have a little bit of a hiccup with the new head coach. But apparently, I was wrong. I can admit that. So I think Arizona wins this one. I think they have all the momentum going their way. Not Seahawks. The Cardinals have all the momentum going their way. Seattle's kind of up and down right now. And here's the thing to me personally. I think Seattle needs this one a little bit more because the Cardinals win, and depending on what the Rams do later this week, because they play on Monday, Seattle could be one of those teams that's going to be floating in that wild card situation that could need some help to get in, depending on what happens the rest of the way. I'm taking the Cardinals here. I do agree, though, with Vegas that it will be a close game. I do agree with that. I think it's going to be very close. But I have the Cardinals winning on the road. Up next is my Sunday game of the week. It is... well, not there yet because Madden's not there because Madden and ESPN have a different pick bracket. So let's go to what the Madden has. At 1 o'clock on Fox, it is the Detroit Lions at 4-5 taking on the 3-7 Carolina Panthers. Carolina is favored by 1.5 points. This is my upset pick, guys. I'm taking the Lions here. I think the Lions are just doing very better than the Panthers are right now. Carolina has too many injuries. I think that's what's hurt the Panthers the most this year. They do have a lot of injuries, particularly with the running back. He is the key piece for that team. I kind of feel sorry for Teddy because he wasn't able to get a lot of use out of him because of the injury. I think Lions win, keep their playoff hopes alive. Panthers will be going bye because they get whammied. Moving on, and this was an easy pick for me, unfortunately. It is the Cleveland Browns at home taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Browns winning this game, mostly due to the fact of Cleveland's is a better team on paper, offensively and defensively. Eagles look like a mess, but then yet again, the entire division looks like a mess. Okay, good for the Hornets there. I avoided that one because, like I said, I'm not watching the draft. I'm keeping an eye on it, though, with the ESPN's app. But Browns, I just think are a better team. Eagles, I don't trust. I don't think anybody really trusts any team in that division unless they're playing somebody in that division at this point. But yeah, I have the Browns winning. Browns are favored by 3.5 points. You'd think that would be a little bit higher, I guess, but I guess with Odell Beckham Jr. Being done for the year, I guess it kind of eliminates that. Up next, it is the Patriots taking on the Texans. Let's see, what does ESPN say? Patriots are favored by 2 points. Patriots are 4-5, coming off a big, much-needed win on this past Sunday night. Texans have kind of pretty much been on life support since week 1. They've been a clusterfuck. I'm taking the Patriots. I just don't trust the Texans enough. I think the Texans are pretty much have already, to me personally, have thrown in the towel, and they're going in rebuilt mode. I don't trust the Texans at all. I do think the Patriots have still a lot of issues, personally, on both sides of the ball. But I think this is a game to where they can right the ship a bit. I just don't have enough faith in the Texans at all to give them a shot. Dave has the Texans over the Pats. Good luck on that one, Dave. I say good luck. Up next, another good game on Sunday, but not my game of the week, unfortunately. It is once I find the page on. It is the Colts and the Packers. And I should point this out, this game did get moved. So it says 1 o'clock. This game is actually a 4:25 game on Fox. Colts are favored by 2 points. And I'm going to take the Colts. I just think after getting that big win against Tennessee on Thursday night, plenty of rest. Packers almost lost to the Jags. Packers have a little bit of issues. I'm taking the Colts at home here to win on Sunday. Remember, Packers and Colts is at 4:25. But I got the Colts winning at home. Up next, it is my official game of the week, as it is the Titans on the road against Baltimore. This is a very important game for both teams. Baltimore needs this win to not only prove their offense is not taking a nosedive, but they need this win just to stay alive in the wild card race because of how Pittsburgh's still undefeated. Titans need this win because in case if they can't somehow break the tie with the Colts or overjump the Colts, Titans have to get in through one of the 3 wild card spots. Now, this is a tough pick for me because it's like Baltimore has the better quarterback in my eyes, but they have not been playing well. Titans have the better defense, right? Titans have the better running back. And I'm taking Tennessee here, guys. I just don't have enough faith in Baltimore right now because of how bad they've been playing offensively, particularly how they played on Sunday. I know a lot of people want to say that's the weather, and they really didn't do well passing the ball. I do not trust Baltimore at this point, so I'm taking the Titans here. Up next, well, this, I don't think anyone's really going to go out on a limb here. It's the 9-0 Steelers against the 1-8 Jags. Pittsburgh's favored by 10 points. I'm taking the Steelers. Sorry, guys. Jaguars are just, yeah. The only reason the Jags ain't the worst team is because they actually have a win, unlike the Jets. That's the only difference at this point in time. So I am taking the Steelers on this one. That's no shock there. Sorry. By the way, Lions are my upset pick if I didn't mention that, and the Titans-Ravens are my game of the week. But this is my lock of the week. It is the New Orleans Saints at home against the Falcons. Saints are favored by 5 points. Ain't no with Drew Brees being out right now. I personally feel like the Saints are still going to win this game. I have enough trust in them to actually have a game plan. Plus, Atlanta, let's be honest. Atlanta this year has been so bad on both sides of the ball. When they do win or hold on to a lead, it's a freaking shock. So I think the Saints get this is a trap game, probably the biggest trap game besides the Steelers-Jags. But I'm taking the Saints here, even with Drew Brees being out. I have the faith in the Saints. So the Saints will go marching in and destroy the Dirty Birds. Okay, Dave, you're going to have to explain to me why you're picking the Jags over the Steelers, please. I would love to know the reasoning. Or is that your upset pick of the week? Because I don't think too many people are going to be taking the Jags. I think you've lost your damn mind on that one. So please, give me I would love to know your reasoning for the Jags winning. Moving on. I think this is one of the games that got switched around. Because this is not the Chargers Broncos. This is actually the Dolphins Broncos. This is the Chargers. So we're going to actually just talk about the Dolphins Chargers real quick. Once I find it. We did miss one, so I got to go back real quick before we get to the 2 games that are not on the game. Okay, so that's the upset. WKRP Cincinnati is traveling to Washington I am taking the Bengals in that game. Bengals are actually favored to lose this game by by a point and a half. But I think the Bengals are just a little bit better team. Both teams have injuries. To me personally, this is what you call a coin flip game because of how both teams are respectively. But I am taking the Bengals here, so WKRP Cincinnati. Get that W, and then you can start raining turkeys and hope they fly. Let's talk about the two games now that are technically not in the game because we had to move some games around. And of course, those would be the Dolphins and Broncos and Jets and Chargers. First one, and by the way, both of those games are at 4:05. First one, Dolphins at Broncos. I think I'm taking the Dolphins at that game because of the fact the Broncos don't have the quarterback. Dolphin is favored by 3 points. I'm going to say Dolphins get a decent, good, easy win here, keeping them in the wild card chase. So go Dolphins. Up next, this was a tough pick. It's the Jets at the Chargers. Jets are undefeated. Joe Falco starting. Chargers have been a terrible team all year long. Chargers were favored by 8 points, but you know, I'm going to be a little bit crazy here, and you know the Lions are my big upset pick of the week. I am taking the New York Jets to get the first win of the year and beat the Chargers because the Chargers have also done what Atlanta's done a lot this year, and that is lose games after having a big lead. They have let teams come back a lot. So I'm taking the Jets, and then up is my other upset. I'm taking the Jets to get the first W of the year. If it happens, I'm buying a lottery ticket. Alright, so let's go to the next game, which of course it is, by the way, your late games for 425. This is your last late game of Sunday at 4:25. It is the 4-5 Vikings at home against Dallas. If you watch this channel enough, you know I'm going to take my Cowboys. Vikings coming off a good win. No, both teams need this win to stay in the playoff hunt. I'm going to ride with my Cowboys. I'm going to go down with the ship. I've said that before. So I'm taking my Cowboys to get the W. Everyone can start making fun of me now probably because I'm going to go down with the ship. Dave has the Chargers over the Jets, and Dave has the Vikings over the Cowboys. Your Sunday night game, and this one's very interesting. It is the Chiefs taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I should point out in that game, the Chiefs are favored by pretty much a touchdown and a half to win the game. But here's the thing, the Raiders were the only team to beat the Chiefs this year so far, so Raiders kind of have a game plan. But here's the problem. Going to the news real quick. Raiders added 7 people to the C list ahead of the Chiefs game, so they already added people to the C virus list. To be honest, I'd rather have the T virus so I can become a zombie and work for Albert Wesker, who is a great role model for children everywhere. Remember, children, if you need a hero, look up to Albert Wesker, because Albert Wesker is a good human being. So the Raiders are going to probably be without some players this week. But the Raiders, like I said, they have beaten the Chiefs before this year, so this is kind of why I had a hard time making a pick. They have 11 players on that list, on the reserves list, C virus list, a few days before they host the schedule of the Chiefs. Safety, Jonathan A. Defensive tackles, M. Collins, Jonathan Hankins, Key Vickers. Defensive end, A. Key, I should say. Cornerback, I. Johnson. And practice squad defensive end, David Irving, went on the list as high-risk contacts, close contacts a day after defense. Come on, ESPN, don't get stupid. A day after defensive end, C4, and defensive back, L. Jonathan went on the list. Farrell went on the list after a positive test. Linebacker C. Littleton and right tackle Trent Brown went on the C virus list on November 12th and November 5th, respectively. So they have a lot of people out. So I don't know who's going to be playing for the Raiders, which ones are going to be able to come back Sunday. So I'm going to take the Chiefs, though. I think this is the game I think they're looking at this like this is our chance for revenge. I think if the Chiefs win this game, they pretty much have the division in the bag at that point. They're barging a collapse of epic proportions. But I'm taking the Chiefs here. I don't trust. I think because of all those people on the C virus for the Raiders, I'm hesitant to pick the Raiders. If they want all that on there, I probably would take the Raiders, but go Chiefs. And then the Monday night game. This one's interesting a bit. It's the Rams and Bucks. Tampa Bay is favored by 4 points, but as we know, Antonio Brown had a little incident before he came back last week and was got took off the suspension. And if you don't know about it, I'll bring that up because it's fucking hilarious. Rams actually, both teams need this game, but I think the Rams need it just a little bit more because of how the Cardinals and Seahawks have been playing. You know, it's a three-way tie in that division. Tampa Bay needs this just in case, hey, if the Saints do end up losing to Atlanta, at least then you can say, hey, we can steal the division. And I should point out this will be a historic game because of the fact that this will be the first time the entire officiating crew will be African American, so a little bit of history there on that. So hooray for that. So congratulations to that. But here's the thing that has me concerned with this game. AP, aka Antonio Brown, read the camera but wasn't charged before joining the Buccaneers. Antonio Brown was accused last month by the community in which he lives in of destroying a security camera and throwing a bicycle at a security guard on October 15th, the Miami Herald reported Monday, citing a police report. The Hollywood, Florida police decided they had probable cause to charge Brown with a criminal mischief, a misdemeanor, but the president of Hollywood Oaks Homeowners Association declined to press charges. According to the report, the president told police she feared Brown may retaliate against her employees. She goes on to say, we're not afraid of Brown, but the Hollywood Oaks board decided that the incident wasn't serious enough to press charges, and that the now Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver agreed to fix the camera that was damaged. Here's the thing. He was supposed to stay out of trouble. Yes, I know everyone's going to say, well, he didn't really get charged with anything, blah, blah, blah. He still broke a camera. He still threw a bicycle. Do I think the NFL is going to do something? If they haven't done anything by tomorrow, they probably won't. But it's still interesting. I don't know where his head's at right now, personally. I think he's lost his damn mind. I think he needs psychological help. He needs to go see Dr. Phil, personally. But this gets me to the game. Is that going to play a distraction for Tampa Bay, knowing that he could, you know, is he all there mentally? Is he there in his mind? Because we know Antonio Brown's a little bit, well, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, part of this commercial breakfast. So with that going said, the Rams have been playing well, and I still don't trust their quarterback. I would say Brady's the better pick there. But the Rams' defense is just so good. And we've seen times this year where Tampa Bay has laid a goose egg. Remember a few weeks ago when they got obliterated by the Saints. So I'm going to say the Rams win this game. I think it's going to be close like Vegas is predicting, but I'm taking the Rams to beat the Buccaneers. So just as a recap before we look ahead to next week, I have the Cardinals, Titans, Browns, Saints, Bengals, Lions, Steelers, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the New York Jets, the Colts, Cowboys, Chiefs, and the Rams getting a win this week. So let's look ahead to next week, which remember, next week is Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble. We have 3 Thursday games, and only one of them's really fucking good. We have the Texans at the Lions. Hey, Lions might be able to win a Thanksgiving game. I don't remember how long that's happened. Washington at Cowboys, but that's an elimination game in my book at this point. Losing that ain't winning the division. They can just, well, get ready to get a decent draft pick in the top 5. And then, of course, on Thanksgiving night, we have the Baltimore Ravens against Pittsburgh. So we start out with a meaningless game. 2 teams who suck but can still win the division because of how bad the division is. And a big game that involves playoff implications. Of course, the Titans and Colts next Sunday in Week 12. That would be an interesting matchup. Let's see, what other games we got good? Well, Bears and Packers will be interesting, and the Seahawks pretty much destroy the Eagles. So I don't see that getting flexed, but let's just take a look ahead to see in Week 13. Oh, I'm going to hate that game. That one could get flexed, just because it's Denver. So we'll have to keep an eye on Week 12, doing the Week 12 games to see if we hear anything about that. If they do a switch for Week 13, the only game I can see that would get moved is probably the Rams and Cardinals the Sunday night. Because of the fact of that's really the only game I'm seeing in Week 13 that has big playoff implications. Nothing else really has that. Except maybe Browns at Titans, maybe, but yeah. Alright, so here's the rest of the schedule for my streaming this week. Later tonight, I will be doing the Until Dawn game, so tune in for that in a little bit tonight. Tomorrow night, we will be doing the Cowboys at Vikings game tomorrow night after the Cardinals and Seahawks. And we're also going to try to get Resident Evil Revelations 2 in. On Friday, we'll be getting back to Devil May Cry 2, hopefully. Saturday will be my day off, and then Sunday, well, we're getting back to the detective game I played this past Sunday. So hopefully everything goes according to plan, and hopefully nothing changes too much. We have a set schedule. Trying to keep that schedule kind of set-ish. Gonna try to get some MK11 videos done as well if I can. I can't guarantee that because scheduling. Now, of course, next week with it being Thanksgiving and all that, I can tell you this: there will be no video on Monday because Monday's my day off. Tuesday, well, there'll probably be at least hopefully 2 videos. Wednesday of next week will be the picks. Thursday, because it's Thanksgiving, I will not be doing a video on Thanksgiving at all. Friday, aka Black Friday, don't know if there's going to be a video yet or not, so next week's kind of chaotic a bit because of the holiday. So I'm not going to guarantee any videos. The only one I'm going to guarantee is the picks next week. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in to Until Dawn later tonight. And until then, have a good night, and I will see you all next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. No. Same to you, Dave. Have a